Last Sunday, we left on a trip for Chicago.
We traveled to Chicago with a program called DOOR. DOOR programs are found all over the country, and they help people in need in big cities. Cities like Denver, Hollywood, Miami, New York, and Chicago.
DOOR brings in multiple groups for service projects throughout the city. When we decided to go to Chicago, I was excited because I'd been there before and I loved it. When I first heard about where our youth group was going for our first mission trip, I was excited to go to the big city, but when I heard about the neighborhood we were staying in, I was scared and worried for my safety. We heard statistics like
66 violent crimes like robbery, battery, and assault.
89 property crimes like theft, burglary, and car theft.
and 82 narcotics arrests.
With statistics like these,
somebody better say something.
So despite our fears, we packed up the minivan and we went. We spent the drive talking, dancing, and singing. However, as we entered the Garfield Park area, the car went dead silent. I saw things I'd never seen before. I saw people on every street begging for food and money, garbage everywhere, and almost every building had bars on the windows.
As we arrived in the church and got unloaded, we got to meet the groups from the other churches. There were groups from
Iowa, Missouri,
In Canada.
The Canadians were so polite. Before I arrived at the church, I was worried about how I would fit in with the other groups. I was afraid that I wouldn't fit in or that the other groups would not want to spend time with us. Fortunately, I was wrong.
very wrong. We were able to become extremely close with these groups and even got to work on some of our service projects with them.
Our first service project was on Monday morning, which was a restaurant called Turkey Chop. Turkey Chop closes every Monday to provide meals for the homeless and those experiencing food insecurity.
Once we did our first service project with Turkey Chop Restaurant, I quickly learned they're just like us. The saying, never judge somebody because you don't know their story or what they've been through, could never have been more true. They were some of the sweetest people I've ever met.
In addition to the people we served, we also got to work with some really inspiring people in the places we visited. In the restaurant Turkey Chop, we met Quentin Love, the owner. He was very loving to all of his customers.
They serve around 700 or more people every Monday. No one who works there on Mondays gets paid. They are all volunteers. A lady named Pat has been the volunteer cook for over a year. I prepared food, put silverware in bags, and gave out trays. This program was the program that had the most interaction with the public out of the 3 food services that we did. These people were so friendly that I was totally relaxed. I think that's when I started to break some of my own stereotypes. There were people of all different colors there, all in need of help, but it was predominantly black people. Many of the people who came had 2 to 3 children. The parents cared for their children and wanted them to eat nutritious food. No one asked for more than they were given, though we still ran out of food.
Somebody better feel something.
Tuesday we served at a local soup kitchen called Cornerstone.
Cornerstone works as a soup kitchen as well as a shelter for the homeless.
We didn't really interact closely with the people we served, but we were busy the whole time where we were because they served 3 meals a day, 365 days a year. This program also houses families and individuals. This is great because most homeless shelters are separate, women and children together, and then men separately. Sometimes the children only have a dad. The stereotype that the dad leaves is broken at this place. It lets the family stay together.
More than 30 million children each year receive free and reduced lunch, yet only 10% of these children have access to lunch during the summer. The programs we worked with helped bridge this gap.
Somebody better do something.
Wednesday, we worked with Ellen and Queenie on the Queen Worship Garden.
Chicago's motto is Urbs un Horto, or City in a Garden.
Many empty lots in the cities have been turned into beautiful gardens. The hope is that when the streets are pretty, it will inspire the neighborhood to be better cared for.
For our lot, we were able to work really hard and remove lots of brush that had grown up around the garden.
Somebody better do something.
We also met some really great people at Vital Bridges, an organization that serves people in poverty that have HIV or AIDS. They were incredibly welcoming and made us feel right at home. They even made us lunch of blueberries, hot dogs, and homemade french fries.
For Vital Bridges, we would get a list that had the client's choice of items from the groceries in the building. We would walk around and get their items for the next 2 weeks and then give it to them. There was nothing bad for you, and the food there covered all the food groups. There were also toiletries and a dietitian on site to talk to the people about what they should personally be eating.
This place, Vital Bridges, serves about 400 people. The whole group was like a family. They made sure we ate and got our fill before any of them ate. The director of Vital Bridges started as a McDonald's franchising advisor, then was a truck driver for 5 years for Vital Bridges. He felt God calling him to Vital Bridges, and now he has become the director. He just fell in love with the program and the people.
People with HIV and AIDS are some of the most discriminated against people, but they are just like us. Vital Bridges serves people from 4 to 84 years of age. Even though the media would have us believe that they are different or dangerous even, it isn't right to discriminate against them or anyone.
Somebody better feel something.
Every day when we got done, we went out for some kind of activity. Most times, we were joined by some of the other youth groups. Like I said, I was worried I wouldn't be able to make friends. Luckily, there were so many great kids there. They made the whole trip a blast, and the Canadians were so polite.
We know.
I'm very thankful for the friends I made, the inspiring people we met, and how this trip changed my stereotypes towards the poor neighborhoods. I now know that you can't be afraid of something just because you've been told that you should be. I understand the compassion with which the volunteers work in Turkey Chop, Vital Bridges, and Door.
Chicago stereotypes are not necessarily wrong, but incomplete. Chicago does have a crime problem, lots of poverty, and problems feeding people. But however, Chicago has a good people who are willing to help others, and these people we saw the face of God in the city.
The media wants us to be afraid of Chicago and big cities like it. But what about the children that live there and walk those streets every day? Can this place be all bad? Or are there people there that are just in bad situations and don't fit all the other stereotypes? What about the homeless that can't help themselves or feed themselves? What about the children in school systems that only eat at school? I came to this trip ready to help people, but I think that this trip has changed my life and broken my stereotypes even more than I changed other people's lives. I'm so thankful for that. Now that I have seen what others consider the sketchy part of Chicago from the inside, I can give the people here more than one story about the people there. One story of hate and anger creates stereotypes, while living and working and telling stories about these people creates love.
We so quickly get wrapped up in the media news that we forget there's always another side. Crime is bad in Chicago, don't get me wrong, but the way media makes it seem is like you're going to get jumped walking down the street. Not only did we walk down the street, but we also rode the city bus and the train, often. So we were constantly out and about with the people of Chicago. If there's one thing that I want you to take away from this is, don't judge someone based on their looks or media. Had I not gone to Chicago, I would never have learned the things I did. I went there hoping to change somebody else's life, but it ended up changing mine. Thankfully, we were able to leave Chicago with some better statistics.
731 fed on Monday at Turkey Chop restaurant.
3 meals a day, 365 days a year for the homeless helped at Cornerstone.
Over 100 gardens created from deserted lots.
Over 400 people suffering with HIV and AIDS helped by Vital Bridges.
Somebody better say something.
Somebody better feel something.
Somebody better do something.
Before it is